All right. So what else are we going to do? We're going to learn how to write formulas and what the difference is between relative, absolute, and mixed references. We'll look at how to use functions. Some of the functions we'll look at specifically, and we'll probably look at more than just these, but for sure we're going to look at the if function and conditional logic. We're going to look at conditional formatting, so watch this stuff change as these reevaluate based upon value 1 and value 2. And as these, conditions reevaluate, right, is 100, now it's 100 less than 75, that's false. Greater than 75, true. So as I change these numbers, everything here changes. So you'll learn, conditional formatting also. The sum, count, average, max, min functions, the present value, future value payment functions, the VLOOKUP functions, which is really cool if you're a teacher and you have to put together a grade book, right? Where it's like, look up this score and tell me if it's a B or an A or whatever. And so it puts in the letter right there. We'll also look at freeze panes. What does freeze panes do? Here are my students' names. Here are my column headers. Now, as I scroll, the students' names always stay on the left. Or as I scroll this way, the headers, the column headers always stay on the top. So we'll look at how to create freeze panes. We'll also look at how to randomly generate a big table full of data just for hoots and giggles. So as I refresh this data, just pay attention to sales transaction number 5, and you can see it just randomly is generating new data for that. It's just doing that for this entire table of 3,000 records. Spreadsheets are truly an amazing, powerful tool. You're going to learn all this too, and it's going to be easy and somewhat fun, hopefully a little amusing. We're going to learn what different icons are as we move our mouse around, and it changes into different icons. We'll learn what those different icons are. We're going to learn what the heck is this here. We're going to learn what pivot tables are. So I have all the sales data from that randomly generating table I created, and I could take this data and I could turn it into information. Data, information, data, information. So all this data, it doesn't really tell me much. I look at it and I just kind of go bleary-eyed. I'm like, well, that's a lot of sales transactions. But with the power of pivot tables, I could take that data and I could turn it into what? Information. I could turn it into information. So here's my pivot table, and you will be mystified by this and then also be a little bit confused. Don't worry about the confusion, because when we go over this in detail, it'll be completely clear. But look at how amazing this is. Salesperson, product manufacturer. I could change these and I could switch what's on the left and what's on the right. Now I have product manufacturer, salesperson on the top, but it gets better, right? I could bring date down here and I could see, oh, that doesn't really tell me much. But I could right click this and I could group that date stuff by, let's say, quarters, right? And now it tells me how each salesperson, if I go up to Analyze and Collapse Field, tells me how each salesperson did in each quarter. I'm going to get rid of date right there, just pull that out of the mix, and now I just see quarter. If I wanted to do a salesperson comparison on each quarter, so quarter 1, how did all the salespersons compare? Like, this data is real good for allowing me to see how each salesperson did on each quarter. So I could compare how Jennifer did during each quarter, but it doesn't allow me to compare how all of the salespeople did on quarter 1. To do that, I simply come over here and drag salesperson beneath quarters, and now I go back up to expand this data, and now I have quarter 1 and all of my salespeople, so I could compare all my salespeople on quarter 1. Amazing stuff that you could do with pivot tables to really quickly turn your data into information. So here's another pivot table. And here is yet one more. I'm going to have to right click that and take my grouping.